Hi, I'm Claire Kerslake of LovingLifeWithDiabetes.com. I want to spend a few moments today to talk about the risk factors of type 2 diabetes. It's highly likely that you could have several and thus be at risk of developing type 2 diabetes. In fact, of all the people in the world with type 2 diabetes, about 50% of them don't know they have it. And not a good thing. Ignorance is not bliss. Because the problem is if you have type 2 diabetes and don't know you have it, you're travelling along quite nicely, so you think, but in the meantime it's not well controlled and complications can develop. So the bottom line is if you have type 2 diabetes, you really need to know about it because you can be fit and healthy with diabetes. So what are those risk factors? So things like age. As we get older, that's a big risk factor. Being overweight. We know that over 50% of people in the developed countries are overweight or obese. Big risk factor. Not exercising regularly. Once again, most people don't exercise regularly. Smoking's a risk factor. Other risk factors if you've been pregnant, having had gestational diabetes in the past, or a large baby. Big risk factor. And family history. Huge risk factor. If you've got relatives that have had type 2 diabetes, you really need to be aware that it's a possibility that you might develop it as well. And not everyone talks about it. So it's possible that you might have some relatives that you're just not aware that they do have diabetes. So you look at me and risk factors. So I'm in the healthy weight range, I exercise regularly. Most people would think I'd be the last person that would need to be concerned about developing type 2 diabetes. But in fact I have two risk factors. One is a family history of type 2 diabetes, and the other is just that I'm getting older. So I need to reduce those risks by staying lean and exercising regularly. So what I do is I have a chat to my GP and once a year have a blood test done just to check that I haven't developed type 2 diabetes in the interim. And I suggest that you have that chat to your doctor about what to do should you have a blood test with your annual checkup. If you've got any questions or queries, do touch base with me in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're watching this on YouTube, head on over to the blog www.lovinglifewithdiabetes.com. I'd love to touch base with you there. In the next video, I'll be looking at some recent research that tells how men in particular can reduce their risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Looking forward to touching base then. Who do I want to be? I want to be someone who makes a difference, who's not afraid to step outside their comfort zone. I want to help people discover how to reclaim their health. I want to put a dent in the universe.